Hello everyone, this is your weather woman meteorologist Amy Metz, and we're looking at today's outlook. This is my birthday. I was gonna go storm chasing for my birthday here, but instead my husband's taking me swimming with sharks. Kyle Cutton is chasing. I just saw his live stream from this area of Oklahoma. He'll be out there with some people. You can find him on YouTube as Tornado Tackler, or on Facebook I'll be sharing his stuff on my weather woman page, Weather Woman Amy Metz. So what we're looking at for the worst of the weather is that tornadoes will likely go from anywhere in Illinois down into Texas. And wind reports, same deal with hail embedded in there too. So these storms are going to be very strong. There's a few reasons for this. One of them is that we have a lot of interaction between the polar jet and the tropical jet. So when we have this dry, colder air coming in, actually starting to mash in at the jet level here, with some of the lower level inflow that's coming in warm and moist off the Gulf of Mexico, that's one recipe for these storms to set up. This warm air will then kind of get underneath that cooler, drier air, and everything wants to equalize in the atmosphere, so it ends up turning over very volatile and very quickly. So that's where we get the spin-ups and tornadoes. So I'm going to outline this by cruising up in the atmosphere, showing you where there's that convergence over Texas right now. I'll zoom in a little bit because we really want to focus on this area. And then watch what's going to be happening with this pressure system as we get a little bit higher in the atmosphere. So there is a big driver here. We did have a pressure system develop out of this trough again, as I had been curious if we would. And we might even catch one more before the weekend. Here to the west now in a couple more days. So as this drifts eastward, the pressure system you're looking at now, higher in the levels, that convergence zone actually lifted up. So that's one more indication of wind shear. Now that we're in the mid-levels, we're finally seeing that mid-level trough that's been part of a reason that this has been driving all the severe weather. And even a little higher, we're getting more of that interaction between the two jets. So a lot of reason to believe there's going to be severe weather today, right where that SPCA had outlined it. Another reason is this upper level divergence. So probably the worst zones for upper level divergence are going to be on this right side of the purple and white colors, where these lines are moving away from one another. And then that's high in the sky, air moving away from each other. So then there's kind of a gap left. And what happens is that the air from down below near the surface, or maybe in the mid-levels, has to lift up. That's called a lifting mechanism, and that's what creates clouds and then drives more convection, more storms. So I'll play this out just a little bit because I want to note that this is kind of speeding up a little bit finally. We've been having really slow patterns, but I think the global wave pattern's finally picking up a little. So we're going to have a large jet streak. That white is very strong wind, and especially on the leading edge of those, there's a lot of severe weather. And then we'll get into some split flow later on, and some more reasons that there could be more weather behind this, but more so thunderstorms that are not so severe with the tornadoes like we're going to see today. Now with the HER, I played this out the other day because I wondered if we would have storms in Texas. I saw reason to believe there'd be a line of storms in Texas, and then also some of these little cells. So the reason for that is that at the 700 millibar level, there was this very, very strong low pressure. So this is funneling air up from the Gulf of Mexico, as well as moisture off the Pacific. So that's going to lead to more storms also, right in this area, even a little further south than what the SPC had outlined. It's just that these storms to the south won't be quite as severe, most likely. I wouldn't rule a tornado or hail in them, because it could happen. But for the most part, that severe weather will stay a little bit north. And so I'm going to go through a few different maps in here. I kind of like to look here at this view instead, and we can see that there's a lot of moisture at the 850 millibar level all the way through Illinois, where they're getting storms now. And we have plenty of Cape in the area, so it's another indication for severe weather. Bulk shear is up to 50 knots here, and then even a little bit higher to the north. We have 700's kind of dry still, more Cape at 500 millibars, plenty of precipitable water in the area that's been, oh hi baby, baby's here. What would you like? Okay, here. And so another thing we can look at here is the, oh, you're so sweet, she's hugging me, is the divergence here. I have a 2-year-old. I'm going to take care of her real quick. And I'm gonna let this loop on the, you like this, Zena? It's weather radar. Look, there's a lot of lightning. So I'm gonna let this loop on the lightning with the 12 hours and let you see what's been going on. These are tracks of where it's been and where it will go. And then I'll help her get set up here. Oh my goodness, so much lightning. If you haven't seen why there's so much lightning, you can go to my other video with a radiation storm where I shared about how that comes. Is this good, baby doll? Here, let me get something for you. Okay, I'm back. So these storms are going to fill into the southeast here as well. As, in fact, we're starting to see one in Roswell just now at the end of this loop. And then aside from that, temperatures are going to be a big thing here. Let's go back to now. Cold air, cold dry air pushing into warm moist air is probably one of the very first ever discovered tornado forecast proxies. So here we go. We have warm moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. I know it's moist because of other things, the levels we looked at with the moisture at the 850 millibar level anyway, where a lot of the clouds come together. And then here, this is drier air coming in. I've checked from Montana and South Dakota. So relatively speaking, this is a dry, cold air mass, warm, moist air mass, and they're beginning to collide. Now, this is just the surface, but if I leave it on temperatures and go up a little more, we can remember that the winds were actually already converging in some of these zones here. And then right along these convergence zones, these lines right here, will be exactly where the most severe storms are. And I will go ahead and show, just to prove, I'm assuming they're going to be along this line then. In that case, there you go. Yeah. So that's the strongest convergence. We're going to keep looking for that. That convergence is not going to dig further south from what I've seen. It's going to propagate eastward now. So the biggest threat level will be here with a little bit quicker movement than yesterday. So we're going to kind of push this into Arkansas today, but it's going to be more hours before Oklahoma is out of the clear. We're going to be watching that on Facebook. In fact, I'll just go there right now and get, in case you haven't been, you can like my page here, The World of Weather. If you just go to facebook.com/The World of Weather, you'll find my page. And then what I'm going to do is share Kyle Cutton's live stream here later. So I just forecast global severe weather here. And what happened in Yas was the latest huge global news. So 3 fatalities there, but I'm very happy that it wasn't more. As sad as that is, this was a very large-scale storm, Yas, that hit India, and it's incredible what we can do these days with our evacuations and our plans. So I have tons on here. I was obsessed with that supermoon too and the lunar eclipse because we had a total eclipse here. So I will be tracking a few storm chasers today and sharing their views on here. Enjoy the weather, enjoy your day, and now I'll go make some breakfast for my baby.